Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here. And if you remember Prince Andrew in the late 70s to early 90s, you might remember that he was all the news really talked about. Women loved him. He liked women. Well, I mean, probably not in your age group, a little bit lower, most usually. And of course, right now he is in a lot of trouble because he is no longer Prince William. He's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and he's been evicted and lost his royal titles. And that comes with more breaking news now. As the Telegraph reports, Andrew summoned by Congress to explain Epstein links. He is facing down an actual summon from House Democrats, interestingly, in the United States regarding his connection with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Let's not go into Savile and what about King Charles and his connection to Epstein, which was very deep as well. And what about the Israeli connection when it comes to the blackmail ring that was created with Epstein? This is all happening at once, and there's a lot of interesting stuff coming out as well about people who were connected to Prince Andrew and what came of all that. We're going to go into that and more today, my friends. Before we do, I urge you to check those links below. We have ways where you can help support us while supporting yourself as well, like Wave Watch 2.0, where you can save $100 if you use code WAM, W-A-M. It's endorsed by people like Dr. Brian Artis. It's no Wi-Fi required or anything. This is amazing. It's 1,100 plus frequencies on your wrist. Helps you improve sleep, balance your emotions, mental clarity, and boost your energy. This is really cool stuff, and I highly recommend people go and check that out. That's Wave Watch 2.0. Use code WAM, W-A-M. And also, if you can, please help support us. We need your help now more than ever. We are always facing down bankruptcy, and you are the only people keeping us alive, my friends. So I just want to reach out and thank everyone who has helped us in the past. This is about 5.5, almost 6-year-old campaign. So don't mind the fact that it's a large number on here, but they won't let us create new ones. So we have to use the old ones. We appreciate any help we can get. We also have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. Make sure to press like and subscribe and share this from BitChute and Rumble at World Alternative Media. We truly appreciate any help we can get. Now let's get into this. So Andrew summoned by Congress to explain Epstein links. Democratic members of House Committee on Oversight believe former Duke of York may have crucial information about co-conspirators. I truly believe that this is a throw him under the bus situation. I am not justifying anything here with Andrew himself because he is an absolute scumbag. What I'm pointing out is they need someone to point the finger at to evade, the bigger questions involved with Epstein here, which is that he is an Israeli blackmail agent, which bragged about being Mossad to his exes. And on top of all that, he got a plea deal in like 2011, which I remember talking about Epstein back then, and no one listened. They said it was a conspiracy theory. He got a plea deal back then, according to Alexander Acosta, who was part of Trump's initial first administration, who was in the middle of the lawsuit. He took a plea deal acknowledging that he was a government agent. So this isn't really all that shocking to some of you, but to many people are missing a major part of this story here. I mean, as we reported not that long ago, I think 16 days ago, that the Israeli prime minister was accused of viciously assaulting Virginia Giuffre, the woman who, by the way, just put out a book. And of course, posthumously, because she mysteriously died of so-called suicide after saying she wouldn't kill herself. Very strange stuff indeed. It says here out of disclosed.tv, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, ordered by House Democrats to appear before Congress in Washington, D.C. for questioning over his links to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The letter signed off on as of today, November 6th, says that it's sent to his Royal Lodge, Windsor Great Park address. It says, we write to seek your cooperation in the Committee on Oversight and Government Reforms Committee investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking operations. The committee is seeking to uncover the identities of Mr. Epstein's co-conspirators and enablers and to understand the full extent of his criminal operations. Well-documented allegations against you, along with your long-standing friendship with Mr. Epstein, indicate that you may possess knowledge of his activities relevant to our investigation. In the interest of justice for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, we request that you cooperate with the committee's investigation by sitting for a transcribed interview with the committee. Now, they mention Virginia Giuffre, who made several allegations against him and other things that go far further than that. By the way, he was accused of viciously himself raping multiple girls, including underage girls. And he's not alone in that. About 1,000 other people have been accused of such a thing, but many of them being like former presidents like Bill Clinton. And of course, yes, there was a lot of allegations about Trump. Now, with Trump, I do believe like people will argue, well, there's no way that he did all this. I would say that people are naive to just assume because they like someone or their politics that they wouldn't do something like that. If you are putting politics above the justice for children and young women, then you don't really care about them. I do think, though, that it's more likely in his case, from what I've read anyway, though there was a lawsuit from a 12-year-old where Trump and Epstein sat on the same trial at both as defendants and ended up settling out of court. But there was a lot of allegations about him and older women. By older, I mean older than the ones that are the most concerning, obviously. I'm talking like 18 to 25. And of course, having run Miss Universe and Miss America and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't surprise me. He's known for sleeping with models, and I don't have anything against that at all. But imagine, if you will, they have cameras in the room at least once over all these decades of him sleeping with models. Just imagine. I mean, all it takes is one video, and then they could use that as blackmail. Don't tell me it doesn't look like blackmail when he says, "Oh, we're gonna run on getting the Epstein files released," and then he gets in, and Pam Bondi says, "I have them on my desk," and then says, "I lost them," and then says, "Actually, we didn't have any to begin with, and only released some totally redacted papers to some shill grifter journalists, so-called journalists that were very pro-Israel." And then says at first they say, "Oh, we don't have tape from the prison, it went missing, it was destroyed accidentally," and "Oh, actually we have it, and here it is with missing minutes from it." And "Oh, Kash Patel says, I don't think that he actually did anything wrong, I don't think he trafficked women at all, he might have been innocent." I mean, don't tell me this doesn't look sketchy. And at the same time, let's do whatever Israel tells us to do, and Trump goes from calling out neocons to suddenly like working alongside them, like Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham. I mean, this stuff doesn't accidentally happen. He is, I believe, compromised, and I think every president is, and I think most of the Congress and most of the Senate are as well. And I don't think that should surprise anyone. And people clinging to the hopium that maybe he isn't compromised, it's just silly. But I think there are some people that were thrown under the bus with this so that they can kind of keep people sitting on their hands. Where are the Epstein files? Well, the reality is there weren't really any files. There's files on him, but there's more like videos. It's video evidence, and it's carried by people like the Israeli Mossad, who of course aren't going to release all of that to the public. They're utilizing it as blackmail. And remember, when some people speak out and push back after being blackmailed, look what's happened. Look what happened to Glenn Greenwald earlier this year when he said, "I don't care if you have things on me, I'm going to say these things about Israel." And then suddenly there's video released of him in really like unfortunate positions, mostly nude. And, he's a gay man, so he's doing some really gay stuff. I don't suggest anyone watch a video. I saw a clip and I was like, I think I've seen enough. But the reality is they do this kind of stuff, and they do release this kind of stuff eventually, but most people will do whatever they can to avoid that kind of stuff coming out. And the Israeli government utilizes that alongside obviously bribes in order to stay afloat and keep everyone in servitude. And then there's the controlled opposition that they also control, which keeps people on another wavelength of opposition, which never really gets to the truth. It's a limited hangout operation, tell part of the truth, but not the entirety of the truth, in order to distract people from the entirety of the truth. And I think that is exactly what we are seeing actually with Andrew. Oh, look what he did. Let's like look the other way on the fact like King Charles and his father, again, Prince Philip, were very good friends with Jimmy Savile, who may have actually murdered people, by the way, and eaten parts of children's corpses in the school, the misbehaved children's school and medical ward that he was sponsoring and working at and living at times. Really sick stuff. But keep in mind that Jimmy Savile actually advised the Queen at the request of both Philip and Charles. But, oh, yeah, Prince Andrew is the worst. He did horrible things and he got caught in it, but let's not pretend he is the worst, because he's not. He's being thrown under the bus. This, to me, is blatantly obvious. And So he got his title taken away, and alas, by the guy again who's friends with Jimmy Savile, who also knew Epstein, King Charles, who, by the way, helped cover up child trafficking coming out of Buckingham Palace, and of course was also, I think, friends with Rolf Harris, the creepy musician and painter who's been in prison. I think he might have died in prison already. And of course, he started the Great Reset with Klaus Schwab. He helped launch the Great Reset, which is, again, the destruction of humanity itself in favor of a new digital system of technocracy and enslavement worldwide under the guise of stopping climate change, which even Bill Gates has come out of against recently because it's more beneficial for the technocratic agenda to just go by the biometric system and money and, of course, war and those kind of catastrophes, which is something that both the left and the right are pushing. Ex-Prince Andrew, like seeing ex-Prince Andrew stocked bathrooms with sex poppers for Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell party, says book. New royal biography claims former Duke of York hosted Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at Sandringham in 2000. So sex poppers. So I'm guessing they're talking about the stuff that people snort to make them more sexually active. All gross stuff. And again, we also have those photos of the Queen of England staying at a cabin. That was the same one that seems to have been owned by Jeffrey Epstein in the UK as well. And lots of stuff correlates the two. And I mean, Whitney Webb has done some great work on Epstein. I have two of her books here, One Nation Under Blackmail, Volume 1 and 2, where she goes into a lot of how Epstein is involved. And by the way, yeah, it's totally blackmail. We know that. If we go to like his New Mexico ranch where Bill Clinton and his daughter Chelsea Clinton went regularly on vacation every year. It had its own airstrip. It had its own saloon. It had its own schoolhouse, and it had an underground lair. When we look at the stories out of there, the AV people, the people putting up the video cameras on the site, all claimed that Epstein didn't really care where he put the cameras. He just said follow the blueprint that you were given because he was just an actor. He wasn't really on Wall Street. No one remembers him on Wall Street. He wasn't just some billionaire that had a lot of power and liked women. It was much deeper. He and Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, who was Mossad, mysteriously died off a boat back in the 80s. It's so blatantly clear, the correlation here. And then on top of that, Epstein acting afraid, according to Ghislaine Maxwell, or not Ghislaine Maxwell, acting afraid, according to Virginia Jeffrey, of a certain prime minister who was on his property a lot, who beat and raped and tortured Virginia Jeffrey. He was afraid to say anything to him because it seemed like he worked for him. And then we look later on in the book in a past confession she's made. It was clearly Ehud Barak, the Israeli prime minister. So again, we just have definitive correlations. I think it's definitive. I think at this point in time, that and one of the biggest Israel First people that is on Trump's team, who is Howard Lutnick, who was next door neighbors with Epstein, who in New York City, who, by the way, held Hillary Clinton fundraisers in 2016 at his house next to Epstein, and then becomes part of the head of Trump's transition team this time around, and then becomes a secretary. And then, of course, is standing behind Trump everywhere whenever he says anything about Epstein and says, oh, my followers, my supporters that still care about Epstein, they're weaklings. That's something he actually said. I care about the justice for those children. A lot of children were kidnapped, raped. And there's a lot of evidence. A lot of them were murdered. I'm not a weakling for wanting some justice here. And the justice does not lie within the Justice Department. The justice lies with Mossad's handling of the videotapes and the blackmail. Of course, the FBI acknowledged that they found tapes, a huge vaults full of tapes at Epstein's Lower East Side townhouse in Manhattan when they raided it. What happened to those tapes? Oh, we lost it. No, Israel has those tapes. And now they've given Trump the golden buzzer, the golden pager. And as he pushes in his chair, it sends Hellfire missiles and continues to, even with the government shutdown, oh, they're not funding all this stuff. Well, they're not having any issue funding Israel during this time. People say, oh, you're too obsessed with it. It's a matter of international freedom and humanity to have justice for this sick, demented timeline that's being built. And yes, Israel's directly involved. And yes, there should be justice. And no, I'm not obsessed. I want people to actually be able to live freely without having to worry about their children being kidnapped and sent into a child sex trafficking ring, only for a guy who claims to be anti-establishment to come in so everyone sits on their hands. And then he says, oops, never mind. Actually, you know what I'm more concerned about? Let's see. Taking off your shoes at the airport. You shouldn't have to do that anymore. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, about those kids. Oh, you're a weakling. I mean, are people not acknowledging the reality of how deep this goes here? I mean, this is how they get world policy set. This is how they're pushing the Great Reset. This is how they're pushing the biometric system. This is all under blackmail. How do you get everyone to bow to the same horrible ideas at once? The neocons, Dan Crenshaw, the leftists, the socialists, AOC. I mean, give me a break. And now the Democrats are pretending they want the Epstein files released. It would look bad for them too. Obviously, they're heavily involved in it. And of course, they will give you a limited hangout version, just like the Republicans are. And, for years, the Democrats said, oh, the Epstein files is just a crazy conspiracy theory because they're trying to bring down Bill Clinton. And now the right's saying that, oh, they're trying to bring down Trump. And it's just a crazy conspiracy theory. I'm satisfied. I trust whatever Trump says on this. Like, talk about Orwellian. Trust thy leader. Insane. People are insane if they're going to allow this to get through and no justice for those children. But alas, here we are. And it seems to be exactly what's happening. So anyways, I figured I'd go into this Prince Andrew story a little bit. Just it's a good kickoff point to explain like how much deeper this all goes. Not to mention Diddy and the Diddy parties. Jay-Z. Wait until all that comes out. Sick stuff, my friends. We'll see what happens in this congressional hearing. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reforms Committee. Let's see how this investigation goes. I doubt much will come out of it. I think it is just all about making people sit on their hands and normalizing things and making it look like they're doing something when they're not, as they throw one guy under the bus, who, of course, is guilty, but no more guilty than about 1,000 other people in positions of power who worked with Israeli agent Jeffrey Epstein. Anyways, as we close this off, I urge people to go and check those links in the description. We appreciate all the support we can get. WaveWatch 2.0, use code WAM, W-A-M, and get $100 off. Highly recommend this, 1,100 plus frequencies. So go and check that out. It's like a rifle machine on your wrist. Check out ways you can, again, get prepared versus a Great Reset so that you aren't in food ration lines. Check out heavensharvest.com for long-term storable food that's non-GMO. There's organic kits, heirloom seeds, water filtration and storage, and books on how to get started. Use code WAM, W-A-M, and you'll get 5% off as well as free shipping on these items. This is a no-brainer. Get this prepared for yourself and your family so that you guys can be independent, not dependent, going forward. We have many other things. We have vni.life/wham, W-A-M. And this is obviously like a big one. Super supplements across the board, like really good stuff. Use code WAM15, W-A-M-15, and you'll get 15% off. You could actually just get more off if you just subscribe through our link. But Protovite is an amazing example here. 100 plus vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients within 5 minutes. Look what happens. So this is the lost charge, the lost negative charge among red blood cells. Sorry, I'm talking too fast. White blood cells are small. There's circulatory issues. It's terrible. And this is a lot of people's blood right now. And this is 5 minutes after taking it. Restored negative charge, red blood cells freely flowing, and white blood cells 4 times their size. This is an amazing thing. It usually takes a month to do this. Protovite does it in 5 minutes. Absolutely incredible stuff. So go and check that out in the links below. Again, you could buy gold, silver, platinum, and palladium and avoid the CBDC system by going to firstnationalbullion.com/schedule-consult/ it has to be that exact link. And you can schedule an appointment for a free consultation with Mark Gonzalez, and a complimentary investors package comes with that. Let him know in the comments when you sign up on the form that he found him at World Alternative Media, or WAM, WAM. And as we close this off, of course, we have gogetfunding.com, Patreon, and Subscribestar. Anything helps to help keep us alive, my friends. $4.99 or more in pledges on Patreon, Subscribestar, or exit at World Alt Media. We'll get you exclusive content, including private video messages to you if you have any questions for us. So I hope people sign up. We have a bunch more stuff, interesting content coming up on there soon, exclusively for those who subscribe and pledge. Again, we have a PayPal address, ancientwonderstelevision@gmail.com. We have a Bitcoin address that you can scan on the screen here and donate in. Of course, we have it in text form in the description as well. And we have a Cointree link with a bunch of different cryptocurrencies that you could donate in if you please, including privacy coins. And we truly appreciate any help we have there. Our Teespring link is in the description for a bunch of merchandise. It helps support us. And of course, you can find us on Telegram, Band.video, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and Brighteon at World Alternative Media. Though, again, Band.video is going to be going down soon because of this stupid lawsuit. So I urge people, if you're watching on there, definitely find us on Rumble and BitChute at World Alternative Media. We're on Hive, Steemit, and Vigilante.tv at Josh Sigurdson. We're on the Bad Guys, TikTok and Instagram, World Alternative Media, Twitter and Getter at World Alt Media, and all the major podcast platforms except for Spotify, where, of course, we're banned. As always, my friends, hit that like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit subscribe if you have not yet already. And as always, live freely, live by example. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.